Well, all right, and welcome back to Planet Gen X. I'm Sean, and we have our special guest, Joel, back with us today. How you doing, my man?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Oh, man, it's all right. Except, I was really excited this week, man. As you know, I'm big into Flight Simulator. You know this.
Oh, yeah.
And I was really looking forward to this new Flight Simulator 2024 that just dropped from Microsoft. And man, I think you've probably even heard, you don't do any kind of flight sim, but I think you've even heard that it's had a really tough time, man.
Yeah, I've heard that it's not doing well.
Not doing well at all. And, I was there live all day. To make a long story short, I got it downloaded pretty quick. I got into it. It crashed on me right away. Waited 8 hours later that day, finally got in, but it was bad. It's not remembering my key bindings for my joystick and stuff like that. And every time I went to an aircraft and put in some information where it can download data for me, it wasn't remembering any of that stuff. So I don't know, man. I haven't been able to mess with it the last couple of days. I just found out that there apparently is a update that came out about an hour ago.
Okay.
That hopefully addresses a lot of stuff. Now I haven't got to play with it, so I don't know. But I'm more than happy to stick with 2020 for a while until they get it worked out, because it was a mess, bro.
Right.
I don't know. Did you hear anything specific?
I watched the Jay's 2 cents vid, and in his vid, he was talking about I guess it's utility, but util is what it is. Something you'll have to explain to me what he was talking about. I don't really know, but something was messed up with
what he was referring to utility. He was talking about like his GPU was only getting hit for like 40%, 50% instead of getting all the way hit like it should have been. So it was obvious that he was getting optimization issues. So let me explain real quick the difference. The old version, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, was pretty much local. It did have some streaming as far as the cities and stuff like that. It streamed some stuff.
Right.
But there was a lot of local data on your hard drive, and it's vast. It's very big. So they decided in their infinite wisdom that this new version is going to be streamed to you through a thin client. So you basically have a very small client on your computer, and they are basically streaming everything to you, just about, except for any third-party stuff that you might have. Supposedly compatibility wise, I can bring my stuff from 2020 into this, and I tried one thing, and it kind of worked, but I have to wait till they get their bugs fixed before I can see what is going to work.
Yeah, of course.
And so I'll be real interested to see what this new update is, but I probably won't even get to check it out till tomorrow. But it was a big deal. So I guess we could at least show people what it looks like, why everybody wants, why we want it so bad. Because the 2020 looked great. I mean, it looks fantastic. It looks very realistic, but 2024 takes it to another level, man. I mean, it really does. And you can get out and walk around all over the world now. It's not just, technically it's not even just a flight simulator anymore. You can get in the boats and stuff, and you can get in cars. One of the companies that makes planes did it like an F1 car, Formula One car.
Oh, yeah.
That you could download. Look at that, dude.
It looks great.
Yeah,
it does look like it'll eat up a GPU, though.
Sure.
It really does. It's like whatever you throw at it.
And that's kind of what he was talking about too, because the reason 2020 it's very unoptimized. It doesn't run very well. It's very single core heavy and not multi-core heavy. So, and the reason for that is because of the very old version of Flight Simulator 10. It has still a lot of compatibility with that. So there's a lot of old code in it. So the point of 2024 too was to drop a lot of old code and really make this, bring this into the modern world. And basically what Jay's saying is it's still, it does run better, don't get me wrong, but it's still really not as well optimized as you would think it could be or should be.
Right.
And maybe one day it will be.
Well, in his video, he was saying, don't worry so much about your internet connection. Don't worry so much about your video card. That give them a minute. They need a breather, because they apparently, like many other games in the past 10, 15 years that I've experienced, you are the alpha or beta tester of this game. You are that person. Every game that I've played, almost every game, there's some gotcha games that I've played that I'm not the alpha or beta tester. They have their own in-house people. But I'm talking about big titles coming out and just as buggy as all get out. They just didn't test it at all.
So, yeah, it's a shame. That's where we're at, man. Like this new, pre-release, early access stuff. I mean, you're a beta tester, alpha tester.
Yep.
Not cool, man.
No, I'm sure it isn't.
And dude, like I plunked down $70 for this game, and here it is. What, 4 days later, and I have yet to fly in it. I have not gotten to fly one plane. Every time I get in there, there's something wrong. Like I said, I can't bind my keys to my. I can bind them, they just won't stay, and it's just a pain in the ass, dude. So I'm just like, okay, I can fly in the old one. I'll just do that. And one day I'll hope that I get to enjoy the $70 I spent on this game. I was kind of dumb. I should have just done Game Pass, PC Game Pass, $11. Tried it for a little while.
Similar to what you did for Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
Just do the pass.
Yeah. Do the pass. Try it out.
Well, look, Cyberpunk is a great game. My graphics card does not appreciate that it's such a great game.
Right.
And it does eat everything I throw at it. And if I don't have like a current gen, 4090 I think is what they're called.
Yeah. 49 is the greatest. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have it. I was trying to wait for the 5000 series. The 5000 series should be here in the beginning of the first quarter
next year.
Yeah, first quarter next year, and we might see it a little sooner, but I don't know that. But I do plan on getting one and going that route. But this game is not having a graphics card problem, as I think Jay's 2 cents is pointing out, but it's hurting their bottom line. They probably should not have released it. They probably needed the money. I heard Jay say that it was kind of a cash grab. So I don't know why they did it early like this, but that's on them.
I don't know if I'd call it a cash grab, man. That just seems like a little kind of that seems like a cop out to me. I don't think it's a cash grab. I did question whether it should have come out as quick as, because I remember when they announced it and it was like, we'll have it out in a year, maybe a year and a half at tops. And I was like, wow. Okay. You guys are talking about like throwing out the old code and you want to do it this way. I thought it was a little premature, and looks like I was right.
Yeah.
But it just depends on how fast they fix it, man. Like I said, with this new update out, there may be a lot of fixes. It remains to be seen. But
that's also a pretty quick release. I want you to know that. So this is actually Microsoft Flight Simulator 40th anniversary, and you said it's called,
which we called 2020.
Yeah, you called 2020. Yeah, and that's the release date here, 18th August 2020. It was when 4.3 years ago. So turning around and players right now about 5,200, 24-hour peak, and this is at maximum 7,000, and then the all-time peak 4.3 years ago. So that would have been on release 61,829. Now let's give you now this is just Steam data.
Yeah,
this doesn't have anything to do with Microsoft's direct data. So this is just
give.
No, they're not going to give us that. So let's take a look at what we have currently. So just try to remember that in your head on the player count, the peak, and the beginning of the last game. I don't think it was launched with so many bugs, the last version.
Actually, it had quite a bit of bugs. Yeah, they had a lot of problems too. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. They didn't have this level of problems, but they did have problems.
Yeah, this has a higher player count right now. This has a higher 24-hour peak already. Let's go. That is maximum. Yeah, so there you go. You can see how it went. But the all-time peak, you got a third less players than what you had for 4.3 years ago. You got a third less players. I'm not sure why. I don't know if people are disagreeing with this version or if it's just maybe they're being patient, waiting for the alpha beta stuff to wear off and get patched and get fixed before they give it a, old college try.
Yeah, and it could be maybe this time more people decided to do the MS Store version. I don't know.
I don't know either.
There's no way to even tell, but it's interesting. The dev on their video that they put out that night said that they tested it with 200,000 users.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know where they got that many users.
If that's 200,000 users they tested for, I mean, like, how many did they get hit with? Because we brought it to its knees. They started putting it on a queue to where people could get in on a queue, and so people could start getting in. And that helped relieve it a little bit, but even then, it wasn't enough.
Right.
Like I said, dude, it took a good 8 hours before I was able to get in and stay in.
That's regular. That's to give you perspective. That's too long. We did get put in a queue when I played Diablo 4 on its release. It did have bugs. It did have problems, and it did have it wouldn't allow us to, jam pack that server. It did not, however, take over, I don't know, a couple hours at maximum to get everybody in. I mean, it didn't take 8 hours. It wasn't an 8-hour span. It wasn't game breaking thing that was wrong with Diablo 4. It was just demand. They weren't set up for demand. And we were making jokes like, wow, they're still using the Blizzard servers from 1989,
yeah. I mean, I don't understand it, dude, because you can't tell me that, especially a company like Microsoft doesn't, understand game launches.
Right. I mean, absolutely should. Absolutely.
In this day and age, especially, they've been hit with huge launches many times. And there's no excuse for it, man. There really isn't. They just don't want to put down the money, I don't think.
Right.
I really don't.
Well, anyway. You said it was a Asobo studio, and then I see Xbox Game Studios published. Let me verify.
Asobo is the ones that did us the great Battlefront games, the modern ones, not the originals back in the day, but the modern Battlefront 1 and 2.
Right,
that's Asobo Studios, and they are not a bad developer. They do some really good stuff. I love the Battlefront stuff.
Yeah, the last one wasn't so great. It had some DEI initiatives kicking in, but as also it was buggy. It had some pretty bad bugs. I don't know if the studio itself has declined in quality or something has gone on, but that's something you could probably research and figure out.
I think they're just under a lot of pressure, dude. I think Microsoft really relies on them a lot. And I don't know. I don't know where the blame lies. I don't know that it even matters. But I don't know if things are going to change ever.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Well,
and there's plenty of people talking about it, and I might bring it up next week if I see a big change with the updates they're putting out. Because I certainly want to tell people to play it if it's playable, because it looks like it's gonna. When I did get in and what I saw. I see some great potential, dude. Right. A lot of great potential. So I'll be happy when they finally get it right. I think the priorities are all wrong in this day and age, man. They should have known better.
Yeah.
They really should have known better.
Absolutely.
But there it is. Did you catch the new Dune?
The new Dune. Yes. We
Prophecy, we did. By the way, the TV show.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to get too confusing because the last movie is so new still. I mean, it's not. I haven't watched it yet. Let me put it that way. I still haven't watched the second one yet. Yeah, no, I haven't.
We probably shouldn't talk about it if you haven't seen it yet. Oh, I'm gonna. I've
seen Dune Prophecy. I just haven't seen the second movie.
Okay. Whew. I was like, wow, man, we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, no, man, I've seen that for sure. Yeah, I just can't sit down. It's hard for me to do 2.5, 3 hour movies, man.
Right. Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. So,
I'm not a, and I hate to say this too, because I like Fifth Element. I like I like several of the movies that the people who made the new Dune movies did prior. But I don't know if I'm not I'm just not a fan of the way it's being told. I guess I don't know.
I know why
it's
you're not a fan, and let me just let's just get it out in the open right off the bat. So first of all, this has the makings of being like Game of Thrones, House of Dragon level stuff. The problem I see is we're all sensitive to DEI.
Oh yeah,
big time in our movies, TV shows, and games, and the main gist, the one significant part of the Dune universe, it revolves around the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. Damn, I got really black right there for a second.
It's fine.
Yeah, the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. So
now, by the way, I was talking about the movies, not the TV show. I liked the TV show.
Oh well, I don't know if you want to talk about the movies. There's no issue with the movies, man. They're perfect. There's nothing wrong with the movies at all. Absolutely perfect, 100%. And the reason they are is because they pay homage to the original movie, where sci-fi screwed up with their version of it.
Yeah,
is they did everything they could to stay as far away from the original movie as possible, even pronouncing all the names wrong.
Right.
Just to be as different as possible. And it left the sourest taste in my mouth. They still didn't get the ornithopters right, I don't think. They might have in that one. I can't remember.
Yeah, like I said,
the new one's perfect.
Well, the new movies bother me, and I cannot tell you why. And I really enjoy the adaptation. I think that the story adaptation's pretty good, and I really have enjoyed what I've seen on screen. But there's something about it that bothers me, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the younger me, complaining in my head from the past, the old stuff, or if it's I don't know.
So anyway, we're talking about Dune Prophecy was what we were bringing up, and when I want to finish that thought I had about what you have no problem with Dune Prophecy, but what I was going to say, and I think many people would have a problem with because of the is this is very female heavy. This first episode, and I have to insist that you have to be okay with that, because you can't ignore the Bene Gesserit sisterhood, and we're coming at it right from their point of view. So if you're going to have DEI issues with it, I suggest you don't watch it, because I don't think they're going that route. I really don't. It's part of Dune. It's part of the lore and necessary. So I hope people don't go that route.
Yeah.
I really don't.
What was I going to tell you?
We're looking up to prove me right that Luke Besson did Fifth Element.
No, he did. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
I don't think that dude you're talking about was even alive back then. He might have been. He might have been a zygote or something.
You're talking about
Villeneuve or whatever his name is.
Right. So he did Sicario. Then he did Arrival, which was an alien type movie before that. He did Blade Runner 2049.
Okay, that's probably where I know him from. Yeah.
All right.
Which wasn't bad.
No.
But I'm not a huge Blade Runner fan.
Right. And so you end up with...
So I'm not going to die on that sword.
Right. And he went down a path with... God, I'm gonna find it, and it's gonna be like, oh, that movie, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, that movie. But it's basically he dips into sci-fi, and when he does, it's kind of dry when he does it, and I don't know how to explain it otherwise. And I think my brain is like, I think we're kind of.
I know what it is. I think I know what it is.
Okay.
He takes too long.
Very much could be. Yeah. That could be a possibility. That
takes too long to tell the story.
Yes. That could be it. Where in the old movies.
They did that to me in 2049.
Yes.
I was miserable, dude.
It needed a pace pickup.
Yes.
It absolutely did.
Yep.
Yes. You've hit the nail on the head. I think
I have.
You did. Yeah. That's what I was trying to explain, and I couldn't explain it. I was like, yeah, normally I'm okay with stuff like this, but this man, this is, I don't know.
I think I might be with you on that, man. I really do. I think you might hit the nail on the head.
All right. But as
so
far as
we said all that because, obviously you have to know all the Dune stuff. You don't have to, but it helps to know all the Dune stuff and see it all to watch Dune Prophecy, which is a prequel.
Right.
We've never seen a force like this.
Let's.
This one.
The sisterhood.
God, it looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
Draws women from many worlds. To advance our species.
Emily Watson. Love her. Angela's Ashes.
Yeah.
Equilibrium.
The Imperium is fragile.
Oh, Equilibrium was just
control.
Great movie.
Oh, yes.
Now is the time to secure the throne and protect.
I didn't care for that thing on her face.
Yeah.
This endangers everything.
They made it weird with the feeding when they were putting it in her mouth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was weird.
They made it weird.
The Imperium is a circus of fear and rumor. I'm surrounded by vipers.
She'd been doing some spice.
If I
What?
Some great actors in this. Really great.
Would feed me to the worm.
Ragnar cock breath.
Lothbrok.
Than just Iraq. There's a war hidden in plain sight.
She's going to be remembered as one of those great English actresses.
The only one that can tell you the truth.
I think so. Yeah,
for sure. She'll be a Maggie Smith one day.
To wipe out every trace of the sisters from our worlds. That is why I've been gifted a great power.
Of course, our Viking guy, raised by wolves.
Oh yeah,
and looks like the same dude in everything.
We've never seen a force like this.
I had to go look up and see if he really didn't have that scar, because I swear he's got that scar in every damn thing he's in. But it didn't look like he has it in real life.
Right.
I see the corruption in your heart. Same way I see the blood trailing your every step.
Take out your blade.
Was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I mean, like, so because there was like no mercy. She made the decision, she did the voice, and she killed her. Like,
oh yeah,
she just stuck it right in there. There was no fucking
I run a school for young women.
Hesitation.
Right.
We're not a threat to anyone.
She's badass.
Yep. Which is, I know that's what may seem odd about the whole thing to me is, I think it's okay. I don't have a problem. These people that are, I've seen some negative on it, but the negative on it that I've seen is, it's about Brian and not the Brian.
Yeah, Brian Herbert.
It's about Brian Herbert. Yeah, right. And Brian, he caused a lot of this himself, and I hate to say that, but he's trying to continue his dad's, or granddad, legacy, and in doing so, he's kind of a modern writer, so he's picking up modern tropes. But you're not wrong. The Bene Gesserit themselves, it does have a little bit of a feel to it that's like that, and we've never seen it in the perspective of the camera lens from their perspective in the universe, in the Dune universe. So I don't think it's a problem. I don't think so either. I just think it's they have to be very careful if they want to retain. First off, this is no Acolyte. All right. Just so you get everything.
Which is why I said what I said about the Game of Thrones, House of Dragon type writing. I mean, we can already know that it's well written. These people have the capability. So
these aren't the same people.
I don't cringe as soon as I see females all over the screen.
Right. Yeah. I can tell you from a technical standpoint, the actual eye candy in the show is magnificent. Each of the cut scenes, all the CGI, everything is beautiful beyond compare. So that's nothing like Acolyte already. That's like, dunk, they dunk and then they got it. And then Go
Let
ahead.
me say this though: the one thing that they do have like Acolyte is they do mention acolytes
I
because they
know.
are acolytes.
I caught it. I caught
that.
it, and I was like, "Oh my god, why would you say that right in your first episode? 15 minutes in, the girls are in the room, and I was like, "Come on, why did you say that word?" And I don't know if it was a nod to them or a middle finger.
No, you know
I
what
can't
I
tell.
think? You know what
What?
I think? I think Leslie Headland ripped it off. I think somebody somehow because those people know each other,
That's
and
correct. Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
ridiculous to think that she read some part of the script
Oh, I agree. I 100% agree. Yeah,
and
and
stole
knew
it.
what was coming. Yeah, I feel like this was just crazy. But okay, so given I agree with you 100% on that. So 3D effects, great. The dialogue connects, great. All right, so far it's ticking boxes in the right direction.
Yep.
What the one of the big problems is, are you treating the males, correctly as their role that is being perceived by the women, or are you treating them like men, where you get to see what the men do? And I think they allow you to see it. You'll see this in like one of the interview scenes when, not an interview, but it's like a back and forth between the emperor here and the emperor there, and they're having the combined. Sorry, spoilers ahead about the wedding, and you've got the two Bene Gesserit witches standing there, and you see the language that they do.
Yeah, doing the hand gestures.
Yes, and you're thinking to yourself, why am I looking at this? And you're seeing. That's when you realize, and I did. I was like, okay, cool. So they're not dissing the male point of view. Okay, so they're showing you exactly what the two males were dominating about the conversation, and then you get to see the power that the women yield in the background. And now, of which, spoiler alert, only one of them's alive at this point, but you get the idea. They hand the hand gestures, the communication, the subterfuge. We're going to get to see a bit about this, the network of what they're trying to do and what they're trying to manipulate. It's a very interesting take for me. And I thought it was a generous step forward, and they didn't take a piss on it. And that's about as worse as I'm going to say about what, they did correct on they did correct on dialogue. They did correct on effects. Where do I have a problem with this show? And I know this is being nitpicky, but it's just me. It's not cinematic. The 3D scenes and the cinematography on the 3D scenes is magnificent. And if you'll pay attention to it, you'll notice it. You'll say, oh my God, the ship flying in is just gorgeous. It's like the people that did the 3D work, they knew what the hell they were doing. They were cinematic. They were trying to create a cinematic painting as the ship was flying in, or space, or entering orbit, or whatever it was, any kind of special effect. And then you'll notice the close-up dialogue scenes between people. The sets are cool and the sets look great, but they're probably all virtual.
Too tight shots.
It usually is, yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't veer off the path or off the road. And this is something you'll see that Game of Thrones has in spades.
It's like trying to stay in a pan and scan box.
Yes, and this show does not have that. The show in this first episode is lacking that cinematography excellence. And I can't tell you what it is. It's just you either got it or you don't got it. It's the proper framing of a shot. Now, given.
But that is one thing that the Dune movies, the new ones, do really well.
Yeah, they do. I mean, like when you see the worm going and you see the dunes coming. I mean, yes. I mean, when we finally, as you pointed out, when we finally get to that frickin' scene, it took a while, but when we finally get there, it's epic. And you're looking at something and you're like, hey,
so maybe that's
this is
you
great.
Comparing it just a little bit.
It
your
could
head.
be my brain kicking back and saying it, but you'll see it now too that I pointed it out. You'll see good dialogue, or you'll hear it, and then you'll see excellent 3D scenes, which it looks like money spent well. And you couldn't hear me say that about Acolyte. And then you'll see these close-up scenes, and you'll go and your brain might compare them to like House of Dragon that we just saw, House of the Dragon, and those close-up scenes, like when we were in a library or we were in an outskirts skirt shot, or when the three dragons appeared behind the, the lady at the end, and then Westeros, and you're looking at it and you're like, holy crap. I mean, it is an effect scene, but they put the real person in the scene with the effects, and the way the camera pans, it looks like a postcard. It looks like something that you'd see in a fine art museum. That's when your brain will kick in and you'll go, hey man, I'm looking at a masterpiece here. So do I think, I don't know who's doing their cinematography. I'd have to look it up, but it's a bit lacking. It's like they didn't let him or her cook. So whoever it is needs to learn to cook. If they can pick up, some cooking skills that are in the cinematography realm, they've got it, and they'll have a hit on their hands. Is it female centric? Yes. Is it okay? Yes, it's okay. Is the story going to be good? I'm sure it will be, because it'll be fine. But like I said, people have problems with Brian, and people have problems with the way that the story is centric on them. I mean, everybody wants the Muad'Dib story, and you can't just continuously beat the Muad'Dib family line constantly.
Yeah, but we have that connection. We know it's
there.
All this is leading up to that. This is the whole point of what we're watching now. So the discerning person understands that, I think.
I agree. If you notice the small inflection of what is happening in front of you, where you get to see the dialogue, you get to see the men, you get to see the women, and now you get to see behind the scenes of the Bene Gesserit, I think you're going to enjoy the show. I mean, I think you'll take a moment and go, wow, this is true power. And behind the scenes, it goes back to that saying of behind every man is a great woman, which is a royal thing that it was said many, many years ago. Right. I'm not sure where that origin was from, but it's the political intrigue is worth it. The espionage is going to be good. I don't have a problem with, it being a little hokey on the cinematography. I mean, but I would like to see something beautiful. I mean, something neat on the screen, but it's giving me that with the effects, and it's also giving me that. But I knew you were going to think, I was like, Sean's going to think, he's going to think I don't like the show, but I do like the show, dude. I think it's good. I don't know if it's better than the current movies. I don't know about
that. I don't know either. We'll see. It's early days anyway. We got one episode in it, so.
Right. I mean, as far as first impressions go, the only problem I have is it makes me feel like I'm watching a soap opera when the camera comes in close and we're watching Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I'm not a fan. The more epic shots, we're establishing shots, and the bigger shots, they're great. Right. And there's no problem there. But
they just need some more long shots, some more wide shots for sure.
For me,
establishing wide shots.
Yeah, it's just missing. It's there's something disconnected, and maybe people think, oh, that doesn't matter, but that's storyboard planning. That's something you do ahead of time. And
they all can't be winners, I guess, but they're hitting on some good stuff.
They can be, though, man. They can be winners. That's the key. Somebody has to be able to take here. Let me punch this up. Somebody has to be able to take direction.
Say that right. I guess I should have said that they can't, like, it's hard to hit on every single thing with the fans, man.
It is, but if you're gonna go
tick every box,
if you're gonna go this far, if you really are, if you're gonna go this far with the show and do so well with the show on this many levels, Mark, you want to look at Mark Strong real quick? Yeah.
I mean, this guy's he's an actor you'll see in a lot of Guy Ritchie movies. I first remember him from. Oh shit! I said it earlier and I forgot already. Damn it! What was it I said? He was the hitman in son of a bitch, dude.
Well, there he's the mob boss in Kick-Ass. That was the image you see there. Then there he is, the Sinestro in Green Lantern.
Yeah, he was. Oh man, it's one of the early Jason Statham movies. I'm getting there. See,
my brain and yours.
Revolver. Yeah. I mean, we just looked at it earlier. It was Revolver. And of course, he did
Sherlock. We talked about that last week. Rock and Roll.
Rock and Roll, Sherlock. And I mean, like, he's done a lot of Guy Ritchie stuff. So obviously, Guy likes his work. But yeah, I like the stuff he does. So I was very happy to see him. Very happy to see Emily Watson. I loved her, and like I said, in Angela's Ashes, Equilibrium. If you guys haven't seen Equilibrium,
oh my God, Equilibrium.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, like it's
yeah,
it's basically a ripoff of 1984, but done in so well that you just ignore it.
Yep.
But it's very well done. Yeah, and then there's that one, of course, the Vikings guy, right?
The guy plays. That's like I said. I call him Ragnar because he plays
Travis
the same thing
Fimmel.
all the. Yeah, is it? Yeah.
Travis
let's
Fimmel.
go back.
And he obviously Vikings is his big thing, but he did Raised by Wolves, which was a HBO thing,
right?
So HBO likes him right now, apparently.
Oh yeah.
Raised by Wolves, man, that was a weird one, honestly. It kind of has the weirdness of Dune, so
right.
I just didn't. There was a lot of that I liked about that show, and a lot I didn't like about that show. And I hate when shows like that only get 2 seasons. I really wish they would at least get 3 so they can wrap stuff up.
That one had a chance too, which was interesting.
It really did.
I think it was the wife and I watched both seasons, and we enjoyed the show. And I think it was only 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But the show we watched, it was heavy. I don't know if it was DEI centric, but it was in a bad pocket of time. It might have got thrown into that pool of type of thing, and that could be bad. I don't know, but
I think it suffered in the time it was made in.
Yeah, that's unfortunately. That's what I think happened. But Vikings, the wife and I watched this too, and we thoroughly enjoyed the show, and it was great. So we've been watching him for years, and you're absolutely correct for I mean, what do you do? I mean, it's nice to see him again, and we hope that, did you know he was in this movie, Warcraft, which is a Blizzard movie? Did you know that?
No, I had no idea. I haven't even seen that movie.
Yeah, see, it's not great.
But obviously not.
It's not great.
Yeah,
but it is based on the video game.
Yeah.
But there you go. You're cool. Right. He what I was trying to tell you was he runs the same character every movie. Almost every movie he's ever been in.
I was like, is he like Tommy Flanagan where he actually has the scars or something? Because like he gets the same part and look in every movie or show he's in.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So that's pretty cool. Now I know you had some corrections from last week's video too that you wanted to go over, didn't you? Oh wait, you get
well, we can.
Never mind. Yeah.
Either way, I mean, we can talk about it, or we can go. Let's see. It's Bob Iger's replacement we talked about last week. According to recent news, Disney plans to announce Bob Iger's replacement as CEO early 2026. And now Google has changed its tune to read a little differently than last week, which is really weird. But I get it. It's part of the new AI system at Google, and we should probably talk about that. That's a whole nother show, though. But with the current frontrunners for the position likely being internal candidates like Dana Walden and Alan Bergman, co-chairs of Disney Entertainment, and I thought that was really odd, so I had to look it up because what we saw last week was they'd pick somebody. And let's pull that up. It's going to be a little bright, but it's basically what we saw last week was Disney's confirming a long-term successor to current chief executive Bob Iger by the appointed Morgan Stanley veteran James Gorman. And then I wanted to take a look at this. And if we go down, the story was on November 13th. It looks like, and this is Andrew Wilson. This is Dana Walden. That could be the co-chairs. And then Alan Bergman and Josh D'Amaro, James Pitaro. And the key was to take away from me was maybe they're floating names. Remember last week we were talking about how they wanted to float, who's the public gonna like it? Yeah, they're floating names. It's like the Kinberg thing. Yeah. They're floating names again, but now they're floating names with Bob, and I'm like, that's really odd. Why would you do that? But it's a correction from us, sort of, because they haven't made up their minds. Right. I mean, they haven't figured out exactly I don't think they have, or they haven't stated that they have. And the story that I saw, it didn't really cover it. And I was like, well, okay, but it's not defining it.
Yeah.
You know, like this is the replacement anymore. And I'm like, well, okay, well, if that's what you want to, that's where you want to go with it. That's
well,
fine.
I don't care who they pick as long as they get Disney cleaned up, man. It's
right
from the parks to the shows and movies, man. The whole thing needs a good workup.
Right.
What else you got?
Well, we covered the flight simulator and the game bit in the beginning. The only thing that's upcoming is today is the 22nd, and that means that's 22nd of November. You have exactly from today 2 weeks until the 6th of the December. What happens on the 6th of December is we get Path of Exile 2, which is a game that is very simple, you know, to confuse with several other games like Last Epoch or Diablo. Yeah, Diablo is a biggie there. But their gameplay trailer hit yesterday. It's a couple of minutes long, and the in-game content trailer is connected to like a 2 hour, or at least an hour and 20 minutes. It's an hour and 20 minutes. It's connected to a big old video, and you can check out both of those on YouTube to see about the content. But this is the beginning.
What are we facing here?
Man.
A relic of the old world.
There's some gals out there. There's a little bit of cussing, and there's some violent situations about to pop, but you can see it in its entirety. But this is I don't think this is in-game gameplay. This is, of course, a cinematic.
Pre-rendered.
Yeah.
You heard the whispers. What do you think he was on about?
But I can scrub. You can see it's already got markers in it, and it talks about the different classes here, the support, passive skill tree, the items, the ascension trials, the in-game. They show off the in-game.
Let's see some in-game.
Okay, so let's go to. That looks like a developer here.
This is the core of the end game for Path of Exile 2.
Oh, and let me take a moment to reiterate. This thing will eat your GPU alive.
Really?
Very similar to what we were talking about earlier. If you give it opportunity, you can overcrank this game. I mean, this is like, does it run Crysis? Yeah.
Let me give a PSA to all you people out there, if you care to listen. Do yourselves a favor and turn off ray tracing.
Yeah.
Please turn off ray tracing. You will not notice that much difference, and you will get a lot of frame rates back.
Oh, yeah.
PSA over. Trust me on this. I promise it will work.
All directions.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we are not going to spoil the plot too much here, but corruption from the beast has blinded
There's a pre-release of this game. You can pick it up on Steam or directly from them. And they have a early access that you can do. But now the beauty of all of this, the game is free to play. You don't have to pay for a thing, but you're not going to get early access. If you want to play early,
you got to pay for it.
Yeah,
oh wow, it does look like Diablo. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Wow. Well, see, now I might be down to play that, man, because you know I've been itching to play a Diablo game.
Let's cut it down just a little bit.
Yeah, it might be pretty cool. God, that is exactly like Diablo. Holy crap!
Yeah. You can see where the screen is. It'll just eat up. I mean, you're gonna.
So this is like kind of like Diablo Immortal, then.
It's higher RTS.
I mean, as far as
real-time
the
strategy,
gameplay type, the fact that it's free.
Yeah.
So obviously you pay for some stuff, right?
Cosmetics.
Like you did with Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, cosmetics are a big deal.
Yeah. So that like as far as Diablo games go, it seems like that's as direct competition as Diablo Immortal, not even regular Diablo 4.
Right.
There are also all kinds of other random
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to check that out.
Yeah,
I mean, free's good.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We talked about. Let me show you. Let me show you how the cookie crumbles on this side of the pond. This is Diablo 4. This is Blizzard, as we just spoke about a minute ago. You can see there's almost 7,000 people. It's got a 24-hour peak, and its all-time peak was last month at 55,561. This is, of course, on Steam, and it does not count the
and that was
Blizzard
just because that
logins.
expansion come out, right?
That is correct. So the maximum here, you can see the peak and everything. And I did play the expansion. I did enjoy it. The expansion was good. But they're, of course, on the downward turn now. And
it's also pricey.
The season is pretty much, I mean, you're going to get the season done. It is pricey, and it is not free to play.
No.
And just,
I wanted to join you, didn't I? But that was just not happening, dude. Because it's because of that fucking expansion.
Yep,
is the problem.
Yep.
If they just said, okay, you pay for the expansion and we give you the base game at this point, that would be the sensible thing to do.
It would have been, but they didn't do that.
Nope.
No, but you'll see here all-time peak, and this is kind of a harsh comparison, like I said, because you don't see Blizzard's numbers. This is sort of like the Microsoft Flight Simulator. We don't see Microsoft's numbers, so it's not a great fair comparison, but just to give you like a little bit of idea here, how much more popular is a free-to-play game. This is the original Path of Exile, the Path of Exile 1. This came out in 2013, and they haven't had a release until this year. So that's a long time. That's 11.1 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't 4.3 years ago like Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is a while back, and this was free to play.
Still got 19,000 people.
Yeah, you'll notice the players right now from that old of a game is quite high. You know, the 24-hour peak quite high. The all-time peak was 4 months ago, not the release of the game.
That's
way
crazy,
back
isn't it?
You get it? This game is extremely popular.
Yeah, it's hot. Yeah.
Why? It's free to play, and everything is in game. So if you want to buy extra bag space or inventory space or cosmetics or something that's not just insane, you know, it's GGG, Grinding Gear Games, and it's there. And the original, I did play the Path of Exile, the original one, and I have thousands of hours in it, and it is good, and I do enjoy it. I do like it. It is free to play, but cool. You know, here we are. Just remember this right here, okay? And we're talking, you know, what we've had to deal with. This came out as well this week on Steam, which I think was just a pure cash grab.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Microsoft Flight Simulator might not be a cash grab. They could just be having problems.
Yeah.
Outlaws is definitely a cash grab. So this is Ubisoft, the company with everything not going for it. And look at this peak. And
why, when you have your own service, would you let somebody have this game?
I don't know.
I don't understand it.
This is a nightmare right here. If you see this, you know, the all-time peak was 3 hours ago.
Right.
Yeah, this game
that's the 24-hour peak. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think and they did lower the price a little bit, but it still got you signing up to all the EULA and all the I don't know what it made you do when you had to sign up, but it was like you had to get the service, or what was it called? You
got the Ubisoft Connect subscription service, right?
Yep.
And it was $20, and I had a month to play Outlaws, and that's the way to do it. I mean, just straight up. If you want to try Outlaws, just get the subscription service, and if you finish it and you still got time left in the month, there are some great games on Ubisoft Connect.
Right. Yeah, there are. Yeah.
But
although the company's
$20
not doing
is a little pricey for me, man. I have a real problem with these subscriptions being $20 because there's a lot of subscriptions out there, man. And I think really $9.99 is the most anybody needs to go for any subscription. I don't care what it is. Games, movies, TV shows, you know, Netflix, all them. They're supplementing all their shit with ads now. It's not like it's $6.99 and you get no ads. No, everybody's paying for ads, you know, paying for these services and having to have ads. I realize you can pay a premium and not have ads, but that's just stupid. Yep. You know, honestly, the ads are very limited and non-intrusive. I can't see paying anymore the high prices for these streaming services. So yeah, but I mean, if you want to do it, that's the way to do it, to check out stuff. I wish I'd done it with 2024, but I knew that I'm going to eventually buy it. And that's just $20 that could have gone to buying it, in my opinion. So if you know that you're going to end up with it, just go ahead and buy it. But if you're not really sure, it's probably best to try one of the, Game Pass or Ubisoft Connect, something like that, man.
Yep. That's all I got. That's pretty much the updates for the week. That covered almost everything that I know of.
Yeah. I got one more quick thing. You saw on here, I put this retro mode for TV so I could remind myself. So I watch a lot of old Star Trek The Next Generation, and I watch a lot of old TV shows that were, designed for 4x3 televisions and, in the format of those days. Now, Next Generation, Star Trek The Next Generation has been remastered. It was remastered, years back when they put it out on the Blu-ray versions. And it's still in a 4x3 aspect ratio, but the quality of the picture is very, very crisp and clear and easy. It's an HD picture as best they could do.
Right.
And because of that, you can see a lot of things that you weren't meant to see, because when they made these shows and movies back in the day, they understood what the camera saw and what you were going to see at the final product in your home on your TV or, at the movie theater or whatever.
Right.
So now when I watch The Next Generation, I see the makeup is so obviously makeup. And I see the model of the Enterprise now really looks like a model because it's too damn, perfect. It's the quality of the image is too perfect. Now I can see the screws that hold together, the big thing that Worf stands behind at Tactical that goes around the bridge there. You can see all the screw holes in it.
You're talking about the weapons console. That's what
the
it
weapons
is.
console, tactical console. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, man, in this day and age, dude, like everybody's always like, oh, I want to upscale, the quality of these images and stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. For me, if I'm going to watch, especially this TNG version of stuff with it, the way it is now, I want a filter on my Samsung TV or whatever called retro mode. And that filter basically goes in there and throws a fucking blur over it.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
And takes out the definition that they've put in there.
Yeah.
So you can see it how it was meant to be seen. And then there's probably, give you some slider with some level of control of how much blur's in there or whatever. And then of course you have the auto function that would do it with AI and do it hopefully right. But I think that would be kind of a neat thing. And it's only probably for nerds like us, but I just think it's kind of important, man. I mean, like, I like being able to see this version nice and clean.
Yeah.
But it really, it makes me realize how cool it was to have what we had back then. Because, I didn't realize that back then until I had heard back then that those, uniforms they wore were all made of spandex and shit. Well, you watch it on these modern, Blu-ray versions, and it's clear it's spandex. You can see the pattern in the uniform. You can see the threads and stuff like that. I mean, that's the kind of details you didn't get back in the day. So, the light blur over it makes it feel like you're watching it on an old tube TV.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that you're close. The thing that I've heard tale of, and it's all rumor, I don't know who started it, but what's not rumor is Paramount's been sold to Skydance, I believe. Right. So we're talking, that did happen. But Paramount controls the bulk of Star Trek. I mean, the bulk of all of whoever owns Paramount controls the Star Trek IP. Yep. They do. I don't know if it's being sold off or changed or whatever, but I do know that AI has gotten to the point, I keep up with it as much as I can. AI has gotten to the point to where they can take an old TV show. They, of course, can create an actor from scratch and they can do this, that, and the other. But one of the big things that they never wanted to convert was any of the 4x3 stuff to 16:9 so we could enjoy it for a modern day television or a movie screen. They never wanted to do it because the things off left of the set and off right of the camera angle, when they were shooting The Next Generation, when they were shooting the original series, space when they were shooting. You get it, yada yada yada.
Yeah,
DS9
C-stands and shit
Voyager,
like that weren't supposed to be seen.
Right, they're not supposed to be seen. AI can remove all of that, give you the panned left and right sides of the screen from a compilation of all the episodes together. If you wanted to see a little bit left of the camera, AI can go and pull it a little left of the camera and go right. The problem I saw was I don't know that Skydance is going to spend the money to have somebody do an AI conversion of all of it. But if there was ever somebody doing like a poll to see, would anybody be interested in seeing a full 16 by 9? There would be a lot of people interested, of course. I know there would. And they can replace audio. You can bring people back from the dead. You can cut left and right, with a whole shot of the scene. The more that they pan left and right of the bridge, the better it is for AI, the more it's going to pick up. You could tell the AI, don't show the spandex so heavily. You show it with a smooth material,
right,
and program it in. Do I think Skydance is going to, nurture Star Trek? I don't know. I hope they do. I hope they, the biggest worry that I thought about over the years is there is a film preservation system in place, and lots of places do not do a good job of it. And Doctor Who is the one that comes to mind. You and I have talked about it before, how everything was replaced with black and white videotape. And you'll see this also in America with old stories from CBS, ABC, NBC. I'm talking in the 70s, when they stored it or backed it up. When they stored it or backed it up back then, it wasn't kept on color. It was kept in black and white. And so it was telesynced to, there was television stations like in Africa and stuff that only could show in black and white. So there was telesynced to film. And then when they were panicking because they destroyed everything, they found out later when they were trying to recover everything that, oh, well, this television station down in Africa still has some old film prints. So we were able to recover those and get black and white copies back. A lot of it all has now been converted back to color, which is crazy. I never thought
that would happen, but it's pretty cool, actually.
I thought it was too.
We're going long, but I just want to cover one more thing since you did bring up CGI, because I had this and I wasn't sure we're going to get to it. So I was going through YouTube Shorts the other day, and I came across some of I don't know which movies this was from. This is some of the later Marvel movies, the recent ones, or maybe even DC. I'm not sure. I think this one's Marvel that I'm showing. But let me bring this window up and
or tell me. I'll
make
pull
it.
up.
I've got it already up.
Okay.
Got it bigger here because I didn't think to send this to you ahead of time, but I went ahead and downloaded this thing, and I watched this video. It is the worst CGI I have ever seen in my life, and I wish you could see this. Let me start playing it real quick.
What's happening?
The storm coming through, and I can't stop them.
There's got to be something we could do. Can't you just cast the spell again?
They're here because of you.
What if everyone forgot who I was?
What?
The wizard, dude.
They're coming here because of me, right? Because I'm Peter Parker.
The
So
wizard,
cast a
Sherlock
new
Holmes
spell.
guy.
But this time, make everyone forget who Peter Parker is. Make everyone forget.
Robert Downey Jr. You're talking about Iron Man?
But it would
No,
work,
I'm
right?
talking about the wizard guy.
You gotta understand that
Sherlock
Sherlock
Holmes,
everyone.
Yeah, Sherlock
God
Holmes
loves you.
From Sherlock, not the.
I know you're talking about Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
What's that superhero?
He plays
drawing a
Doctor
blank.
Strange.
Doctor Strange. He's that
You're gonna forget who I am.
Dude, these aren't people, man.
I
I
know.
wish you could see this.
Okay, what are you talking about?
There
It's
is
okay.
such.
I'm
It's
not
all
gonna find
CG.
you.
There's such filters
I'll
or
explain
something on
everything.
these guys. They're either not the real actors,
Right.
or there is such a heavy filter on
there
everybody. I
anything else?
don't understand what's going on, dude.
No.
Like you'll see it when I post the video tomorrow. But like, I don't understand.
Well,
I've seen the CG that they have done in these movies. It's horrible. It's
Well,
I don't understand how things have gotten so. I've been covering CG my whole life, and I've watched it grow into beautiful things.
Right.
And as the years go on, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And I maintain that what I just showed you in there, none of those actors are really in those scenes. They're all CG actors.
It could be. Yeah. What's the name of the video? What does it say?
I don't remember, man. Hold on. Let me look it up real quick.
Is it them
It's the day
fighting?
everyone forgot Peter Parker.
Oh.
at this. Wire and all that shit in it.
No. Oh, yes. Yeah, it is that one.
And I don't know, man. This is exactly I mean, one of the many reasons that I have the moratorium on the superhero stuff, man. It's just crap. Martin Scorsese, as much as y'all hate him for saying it, wasn't far off the mark. Honestly, it didn't start out that way. The Marvel movies were really good with the Iron Man stuff, and they were really smart with how they did everything. But then they got too big for their britches and got those big dollar signs all in their eyes, and let it go to hell in a handbasket. And now it's happening with the whole damn studio over Disney. It's ridiculous, man. These poor artists at these CGI houses, man, these effects houses, these poor guys, it's ridiculous. They're worked like dogs, and the quality of CG we're getting on these in this stuff, and this is stuff that got mega money thrown at it. There's no excuse for it. Absolutely no excuse. If you have that much money, you can hire every effects house that isn't doing anything at that time and get them to make the stuff look good. You don't have to take one or two effects houses and practically kill everybody that works there to try and put out a product that looks subpar as hell. And I mean subpar like 1990s Babylon 5 light wave subpar. Even that shit looks better than some of the stuff I've seen nowadays. And that's some basic stuff back then.
I think what you're describing is what people have spotted in the industry, and I've read about it. Avengers Endgame, amazing effects and amazing groundbreaking work. Mandalorian has some amazing effects and amazing groundbreaking work.
Yes.
Some of the stuff is the volume. Some of the stuff is Unreal 6. Some of it fools the eye really well. When you go to do people, Unreal 5, sorry. But but when some of the stuff goes to people and they start to digital copy, digital paste type of thing. And we've seen this with what's his name, Tarkin in Star Wars, and Leia, and oh god,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's not quite there yet.
I think it is now. It wasn't there when those came out. It didn't look too bad, man. I mean, honestly, for the time, it didn't look too bad.
Well, the thing I'm warning you of,
nowadays, you can replace anybody.
Agreed. The thing I'm warning you of is Disney doesn't do that, and Marvel doesn't do that, and you're going to see that. You're going to see a better product from somewhere else. I've seen people.
If they want to make the case
that are just amazing.
Yeah, right.
That's what Marvel did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It can be done easily.
It can. But they don't do it.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't understand why they don't do it. I
think it's hubris, but that's on me.
If they would have made the case that that's a painterly feel or something that they were going to do because they're comic book movies, fine. Right. But you got to do it on all of them. You can't have all the, you can't go back to the first Iron Man movie and have it looking like it does, and then have all these looking like shite.
Right.
So, if it's a feel that you were going for, fine, but you gotta say that ahead of time and make everybody know that that's the way you were going, and that it's not some effects house that's been, put to its limit and can't produce anything better because that's just what they could get out in the time they had.
Right. Well, it's like when we looked at Dune, man. I think the Dune stuff is beautiful. I think that the 3D is beautiful, but you and I did not see. I don't think we saw like digital characters in Dune, or if we did see them, it was hidden well, and they were not the priority in the scene. Either a depth of field was used, or our attention was drawn elsewhere. Something was happening to keep us from saying, keep me from saying, okay, that breaks suspension of disbelief. I can't even get close to it. But you're right. If this is a moratorium, you may find a Disney, a Marvel, or a Star Wars product, which is basically all Disney. The hubris is incredible. And some of their storytelling is really good. Some of their storytelling is really bad. They're just hit or miss. Yeah, the swing, miss, swing, and a hit. It's hard to tell, dude. Yeah. Deadpool and Wolverine was great. Absolutely. It's fantastic. It was a good movie.
But it was barely Disney too.
Yes, it was the leftovers of what they bought from Warner Brothers or 20th Century Fox. 20th Century Fox. I get it wrong all the time. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot to be desired with what they do. They need to hold a standard, and then they all need to abide by it. Or if they don't have the budget for it, they don't do it. You know,
exactly,
it's like,
man.
This is just going to hurt us to go this route, is what they should say. And they don't. They go for, I can't believe we've been talking about cash grabs the whole show, but that's what it is. They go for the cash.
Yeah, that's Disney's biggest problem. But there it is, guys. Well, we have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I added to it. I just kept adding to it. I couldn't help it, man. You kind of led me down that path when you started talking about CGI. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, excellent show. A lot of good stuff there. So, remember, as always, be excellent to each other, and we'll see you guys in a week with some brand new stuff, and we'll have our buddy Joel back with us. As always, thank you so much.
Have a good one, everybody.
Yeah. Peace out, y'all. Bye.